Good morning, and welcome to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workshop. My name is Jerry Coleman Odom, and I am the Suffolk Region PTA Recording Secretary. Thank you for joining us this morning for this workshop. I hope you get a lot of information out of it. What is diversity? Diversity is the representation of and the respect for people from different backgrounds and identities. These include, but they're not limited to, race, culture, gender, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic status, geographic area, language, ethnicity, nationality, abilities, disabilities, religious commitment, political perspective, learning style, and physical appearance. It includes everybody. It involves bringing different ideas, perspectives, and life experiences, talents, values, and worldviews to the table to represent the broad variety of children, caregivers, educators, and community within the PTA family. We're talking everyone across the board. What is equity? Equity is promoting justice, impartiality, and fairness in resources, opportunities, and outcomes so that all communities get what they need to be engaged and successful. It means doing what we have to do, regardless of who it's for, how it's received, so that we can all be successful. It moves beyond an equal across the board approach. That's what we want, but that's not how we get there. We must first recognize and address bias and privilege and understand and attend to specific individual and community needs. We need to provide additional resources for those who have greater needs. What is inclusion? Inclusion is the actions, behaviors, and the social norms that ensure that all people feel that they are safe, welcome, and that they belong. This means putting diversity into action with skill and intentionally doing what we have to do to ensure that everybody feels respected, supported, and valued. Parents, students, school members, and community members are encouraged to participate with an equal voice and the right to be heard. How do we welcome diversity into our PTA? Well, we have to learn more about the community that the PTA is serving. Don't assume just that you know what's happening in the community or that you understand the different cultures represented. Ask questions to try to understand. Avoid tokenism. And tokenism is the practice of making a symbolic effort to do a particular thing by recruiting a small number of people from underrepresented groups in order to give the appearance that we're being diverse, inclusive, and equitable. Don't go just towards one culture when it's that cultural month, for them to chair that event or for them to be in charge of. Get everybody's input. Build trust. Don't assume you're in a position of trust because you're a PTA leader. You have to build a meaningful relationship with your students, your families, your community, your educators, and your school administrators. We have to cater to the needs of the community. We need to ask questions to understand the needs. What kind of workshops would you like to see? You're new to the school. How are you faring? How are you finding things? Are you navigating everything okay? Have you gotten in touch with your teachers, your students' teacher? What workshops do you want to see? What events would you like to see? We need to find out what the community needs, what the families need, so that way we can provide that. We need to possibly find different meeting places, because sometimes the school is not always the ideal place. It's an ideal place, but it's not the ideal place. So sometimes we might have to use a community center, a library, or even doing a virtual meeting. Sometimes the weather is going to be too bad for anyone to come out. That's when we can, look into doing virtual meetings and parents can join. We have to remember to find a good, happy medium with meeting times. Some meetings in the day, right after school or during school hours, might not work for a lot of parents. A lot of parents may work at that time. So we might have to stagger, juggle, figure out what works best for your membership. Equity versus equality, what's the difference? Well, equality in layman's terms means dividing the resources in matching amounts to everyone. And equality focuses more on dividing the resources proportionately to achieve a fair outcome. We want everybody to be at the same place, but some may need more resources or more support than others. So we have to look at that. The equity in the PTA, we have to advocate and prioritize for innovative, sustainable solutions that work for a diverse range of children and families, especially those that are underrepresented in our communities. We need to champion fair, just, and data-informed approaches to children's educational success and health and well-being. One way to look at equity across the board, just to know, everyone gets a pencil in school. Jimmy gets a pencil and Katie gets a pencil. They're equal. However, Jimmy has fine motor skill issues and doesn't grip the pencil the right way. So instead of just giving him a pencil, perhaps we give him a pencil grip or another support aid that would help him work on his handwriting by being able to grip the pencil better to help the fine motor skills. That's where equity comes in. We need to persist in the face of challenges and hold ourselves and our partners, including our educators, our policymakers, our stakeholders accountable, and making sure that the resources are available for our students and their families so that everyone can get what they need. Equality is actually what we all are trying to get to, but to get there first, we're going to have to ensure equity. Inclusion in the PTA. We need to work cooperatively and respectfully with our colleagues, those with different roles, goals, and approaches. We need to share information, share tools, resources, leadership opportunities among the association membership. We need to partner with our schools and with our communities to increase the impact of our work. We need to listen and to engage a diverse range of voices and life experiences. Our members all are so from many different ways of life. So we need to learn from them, learn from our prospective members, our educators, and listen to the community members. We need to seek to meet individuals and communities where they are. That means by not assuming that everybody is on the same playing field. Everybody is living the same life. Everybody is not. So we have to meet them where they are, especially those that are underrepresented in our association. Let's talk about bias. What is bias? Bias is a particular tendency, trend, inclination, feeling, or opinion especially one that is preconceived or unreasoned. Are you biased? Am I biased? Yeah, we're biased. We are all biased. And that is just because we all come from a different place. Our upbringing was different, our opportunities were different, and our life experiences are different. I can be biased over the fact that I don't like redheaded curly people. Why don't I like redheaded curly people? Because in the 7th grade, a redheaded curly girl bullied me and she made me feel bad about myself. Yes, I know that not every redheaded curly person is a bully, but my bias is because of that. It's not necessarily a bad thing to be biased. It can be a challenge, and it can depend on how we look at things. It's just one of those things that we lean towards or against a certain group of people or a person. It kind of is like, well, you know what? I'm not going to deal with her because she's a redheaded curly person, because I have a bias against that. What is implicit bias? Implicit bias means that we're not aware we're doing it. It's it's consciously or subconsciously holding something against a group or someone. The redheaded curly person, you know, as a leader in PTA though, we're always growing. Others are watching you. And it's important as a leader who want to help grow future PTA leaders that we have to exude those qualities in these traits. We have to embrace our bias, acknowledge that you have it, and grow from it. Okay, I have a bias against curly, redheaded people. I know I have it. I know why I have it. But I need to work on it because I need to know that not every redheaded curly person is going to bully me. Once you recognize your bias, you research why you have it, you work on yourself, and you grow with it, it's going to be evident to everyone else. They're going to be like, oh, okay, I may go up and talk to that curly headed, redheaded person more than I did before. Bias shows up a lot in the PTA. It shows up in our meetings, our meeting times, the makeup of our board. And especially if we're not utilizing our membership by having the same people on the executive board, we're showing a bias towards the rest of the membership or the parent or family member who wants to be involved. How do we go past that? Well, what we do is we go up and we ask someone, hi, how are you? Engage them. What are you interested in? Get to know them and then encourage them. Listen, there's a training that's coming up and Suffolk Region is doing a training and I think it'd be great. Would you like to go and represent our PTA? It's really informative. That is breaking a bias. It is opening up and engaging your membership. Cognitive dissonance is the introduction of something different from the way we believed it felt. We believed one thing all this time, and once new information about it is given in a situation, in a group, how do we handle it? And what do you do with it? Oh my goodness, I always thought this, and this. Well, that's not so. So now, how do you handle that? How do you take it in? How do you make it, apply it to your life, apply it to your leadership? When we talk about advocating for every child, we need to do just that. Advocate for all children. We need to check our biases at the door. Embrace your bias long enough to change it. I know that I had a problem with redheaded curly people, but you know what? I know now, I've researched it. I realize why I have it. And I don't need to have it because not every redheaded curly person is going to bully me. What can we do? We can improve and be more aware of our thinking, our reasoning, and our decision making. We need to think and we need to reason with ourselves so that way we can be effective leaders and show the traits and the qualities that we want to our membership so that we can grow our membership and make them successful. We need to work on ourselves so that others can see us. We need to inquire and encourage others' thinking, their reasoning, and embracing different points of view. Your way is not always the right way. It's a collective collaboration. You need to educate yourself, your board, your administrators, and your membership. Encourage trainings, holding workshops, inviting in your councils, inviting in your region to doing what it needs to be done so that your PTA will become more successful. Remember, if we're inviting and welcoming and respectful of everyone, our membership will grow. This person will tell her friend, and her friend will tell her friend, and her friend will be like, the PT is not like that. They're great. Come on, you need to join, and you need to hear all the great things that they're doing. Be mindful of the nonverbal communication cues. Watch your face. Some people can't play poker. Watch your body language. All that shows how somebody will engage with you. Know that the way you carry yourself, your tone of voice, is a reflection of your leadership, and others will follow. Attitude reflects leadership. So if you want to have a good, cohesive working board, and you want your membership to work together and engage for the betterment of the students in the school, your leadership needs to reflect that. We're all here for the same goal. Every child, one voice. And we need to remember that. Some of the resources that are very, phenomenal, you could always go to National PTA, 10 Minutes to PTA, The Transformative Way is a learning series that's on YouTube. They're like 10-minute videos of different topics that are just amazing. I strongly suggest that, you take a chance to look at it. And you could always go to the New York State PTA website. And if you have any questions. Any questions?